Well, hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. It's Mike Parker here alongside Artie Tafoya, and gathering here in the month of October at Appalachian Brewing Company in Mechanicsburg. Artie, it's been a while. How you doing, man, now that fall has kicked off?
Good, Mike. The summer ended, and it went straight to deep fall, I think.
Yeah.
The hurricane came up through, and everything's been cool, but today's a really nice day, and it's a great day to get together with you guys.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's like we flipped the switch. I was out in western PA the last couple of days, actually, and like the foliage coming down the turnpike is like, it's actually a lot brighter. So if you ever have the chance, people actually travel to like go see foliage and stuff. It's kind of crazy, that's like a big tourism deal, but like seriously, it's a major change. It's really beautiful out there, and I guess it's on its way here. So there's a couple of things you think about in fall: changing leaves, changing beers. What do we got going on here as we roll into fall? I know you guys had a successful Oktoberfest around the brew pubs.
Yeah, I think we're just finished it up, and we've had a couple of fall beers start to trickle in here. I mean, we were just in summer, and then all of a sudden it was like everybody was going, "Hey, where's your stouts? Where's where's everything else?" So we did have the Nut Checker Nut Brown Ale.
Yeah.
That beer came out. That is we do that as a fundraiser for the Testicular Cancer Research Foundation there, and that's a really good beer. We had really nice, nutty, sort of round brown ale, which is very good. A little darker this year than it has been in past, but everybody's like, "Are you sure this isn't a porter or stout?" I'm like, "Well, it's a little darker, but it still has that nice nut brown flavor to it." So
awesome. Well, I'm only hearing good things, and it's a transitional time for a lot of beer drinkers. So if you're making that switch, hey, there's no better time like the month of October and November. I always liken back to one of my favorite beer labels that we sort of created together was for the old Ruddy Buck pumpkin ale.
That's right.
Because I mean it's hunting season too, so that's the other thing. So it's really just a cool time, to football, hunting, great beers. And we've got some great guests with us here today too. We're not alone. You want to introduce?
No, we got a house full today.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of people here at the table joining us. So I want to welcome to the table Norm and Ryan, who are with Funk Brewing, as well as Pine Creek Spirits. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
So was that fun, just sitting back and listening to me and Artie talk for 2 minutes, like we weren't even here?
Made the day so far.
It's like we like everyone's like, so you have one microphone and we're just going to sit around this office room? Yes, this is the fancy podcast world, so we try to make it sound good and on the other end, though. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Artie, you want to tell us a little bit about the why you invited the guys on the podcast today? A little collaboration, of course, that's been going on with this company. Well,
truly, Mike. These guys have been good friends of ours for some time. We've been in the industry together. I think they're about 1/4 our age, maybe, but I've known these guys for a long time. They're great people to work with. We did a collab beer this last year, which was a big hit. I thought the Funkalation. It was a West Coast style IPA, just been hanging with these guys a little bit more, getting to know them a little bit more, and then we started working on some spirits projects together, where they've got some flavors that we're helping them put into cans and some other things. So not only do we do the ABC's similar famous Moscow Mule, but also Ranch Water. So pretty excited to have you guys in. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with you guys.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'd love to talk about those. You talked about the Mule and the Ranch Water. So those are our most exciting things from Pine Creek Spirits. And I hope we dig in, because my favorite part about the Mule is that we use what I think is the best ginger beer on the planet, and that's the Appalachian Brewing Company ginger beer. I've thought that for a long time.
No contest, man.
I've thought that before I was even in the beer industry, so just FYI.
Well, thank you.
So spirits-wise, out of Funk Brewing, we have some cool stuff, so we're always trying to experiment. In the fall, we have our Raspberry Shandy comes out, which is our not that raspberry is not good year-round, but we like it in the fall. And I'm really excited. Next week, We have a stout, so we call it Special Brownie, and we're experimenting with some hemp terpenes in it. So it's to be that brownie that you may or may not have had in college if you went to especially a Pennsylvania party school, right?
Oh, that.
But yeah, so it should taste like a brownie with some hemp terpenes. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Cool. Well, Ryan, you're also here. That we've been talking to Norm. Ryan, what's your deal, man?
And most of what I do is I'm distilling for Pine Creek, and like I said, we got to know Artie, and it's we're at that weird stage right now where we're just getting big, but we're not big enough. And so Artie's Appellation is awesome, helping us out with basically, hey, we have these products and we want to get out there everywhere, but we're not big enough. We don't have canning lines. We don't have stuff like that. So we're working with them, and it's been awesome so far. Doing some products, getting them out in the state stores, and just experiencing this growth with them is great.
So you guys are from Elizabethtown?
Yes.
Where can I go to find your stuff?
So separate. So Funk Brewing, our production facility is in Allentown. It's actually called Emmaus. And so it's on the west end of Allentown. It's not far from Dorney Park. We have a really cool tap room there. So we've got the brewery, we've got a really cool tap room. And then Elizabethtown, we have a Funk Brewing tap room as well. And then on the back side, we have the distillery, Pine Creek Spirits. So they're kind of together and separate all at the same time. So you can find both in Elizabethtown. And as far as where can you find it, shoot, I mean, you could be anywhere listening to this podcast. But if you're in the Mid-Atlantic, look at a grocery store. Hopefully you can find some Funk Brewing, especially in Pennsylvania. And for Pine Creek Spirits, right now, look in your state stores, right? So we're at a lot of state stores throughout the state. But we'd love you to come visit in both Emmaus or Elizabethtown, wherever you're close.
All right. Well, as I mentioned before, I got a little story about where I tasted one of your beers recently, or where I came across one, and we'll get to that. But I am looking at a couple of beers in front of me. Artie, we have Henry Grossman here, who is I forget he's the machine, or he's the
strategic growth officer.
Oh, that's right, strategic growth officer. So Henry, you want to describe the beers that we have in front of us here for some sampling?
Sure, happy to. We have two beers we just released the past couple of weeks. First one was a classic. It's Mad Cameron, which is a Belgian wit. This beer is ever developing. It just gets better every single time it comes out, I feel, and even to the point to where the other night I went for dinner after the football game. I had to text our brewmaster Bruce Tanner and just text him, just said, "Hey, this is absolutely amazing." And I was like, "This beer is just knocking my socks off."
All right, well, let's see how let's taste it, guys.
Ready? Here we go.
Here we go. So this is Mad Cameron. Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
We did say sample glass too, by the way, but we got full snifters here. That's okay.
That's right.
The samples are all relative to who's drinking it.
Right. Technically, it's a large sample. That's fine.
You caught him the machine, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I can never remember his title, right? Because it's so he's just the guy's a machine. That's all.
That's right, and he is.
So, Artie, start things off. This is a style that you've been brewing for a long time. Wit's obviously one of my favorites. Says in the wheat family of beers.
You are a wheat guy, Mike.
I am.
I mean, Water Gap Wheat has been your favorite beer for way too many years. And we've been trying to wean you off onto IPAs, but he just keeps going back, which is awesome. The wit beer, the Mad Cameron, just one of those things that a beer that we produce, maybe not every year, but we try to get it in the tanks at least once a year. Great phenolic. We use the Belgian yeast on that. It produces those little bit of phenolic flavors, a little bit of clove, not a lot, not overly phenolic, but pretty good. And just a real smooth, round flavor to it. Really, like Henry said, I think it turned out great this year.
We've got the Mad Cameron. We're sampling that. We also have another beer we're going to learn about in a couple of minutes. We're going to check back in with our guests from Funk and Pine Creek, and we're going to see what's going on with some of their upcoming products when we come back on the Appellation Brewing Company podcast. All right, and we're back on the Appellation Brewing Company podcast, having a great time here, sampling some beers from Appellation, and also we're going to try some products from our guests on the podcast this week. We've got Funk Brewing Company and Pine Creek Spirits joining us. We've got Norm and Ryan. Guys, enjoying yourselves so far?
Yeah, some good comments being made.
Yeah, when the microphone goes off, sometimes that's what we wish we could actually air. But Artie, we were talking about Penn State, and I just bring Penn State up not because everybody who's listening is a Penn State fan. I don't, it doesn't matter who you like, but what I'm trying to bring across is it's tailgate season, right? And we've got experience. I know Shippensburg is a big deal for you guys because you got the brew pub there. Their homecoming's coming up.
Yeah.
Penn State, of course, is just the classic big time tailgate experience. But when you're going, you want to have something that is going to keep the party interesting, right? And something you can share with maybe new people that you meet.
Well, Mike, we had Old Joe, which is our RV that we ended up selling during the pandemic, but. Our daughter went there for many years, and we would go up to games all the time. And I always wanted more of Appalachian product up there. And over the last year, we've really made some strides up there. I don't know if you've been. Did you see our billboard?
I saw the billboard that says "We Can" with the cans. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks great. So that's just the start of a lot of the work we're doing in that area. We're in pretty much all the wholesalers now in the area, in a lot of the bars. If you went into Local Whiskey when you were there, we just did an 8-tap takeover there with Halves. It's a great tap takeover. So there's a lot of good things going on. But when I go up there, of course, we always wanted to be in cans because you can't have bottles at the tailgates. At least you're not supposed to, right? So we would always just pour them out, but we now that we have cans, everything's cool, and we're allowed to bring the cans up. We just fill the cooler up, and if you're in the area, you can go out and actually find us on tap at quite a few different places as well.
Awesome. So in my cooler, because you're busting on me for being the wheat beer guy, but everybody has a favorite style. But I'm telling you, man, I was looking through. I was like, hey, I'm going to be up at the stadium. It's going to be a rainy Saturday morning. And what am I looking for? I had a couple of cans. And by the way, my kids were with, so it had to be kind of a family-friendly, tailgate. So for $4 at Carnes, I hooked myself up with a 4-pack of Liquid Outer Space.
Nice.
The kids were enjoying that, and we shared one with another family that was next to us. That actually came from the Chambersburg area, and they were cool. Their kids loved it, and then. I was enjoying a couple of bottles that I want to call the reserve because they've been in the fridge for a while, but I decided to clean things out, and I had the old classic Hoppy Trails IPA. And so whether the bottles are against the rules, I had no issues up there and really enjoyed it. So that's my tailgate. It was wet. It was great, but I had some awesome beer. Norm, we'll talk about some of your products that you guys have, and if you want to share some, explain why they make for a great tailgate.
Sure. Well, I'd love to share right now. We just recently came out. We made a Pay Dirt IPA. The one reason it makes for a great tailgate, it's an IPA. It's 5%.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a beer that you can have a couple at the tailgate. I think we may know some guys that may or may not have not made it into games before, right? Because they were really good at tailgating. So this one helps with that. The other cool thing is we did it in a collaboration with some friends of ours that have a different podcast. A rival podcast to this, if you will.
It's called. Gonna get them already.
Yeah, it's called the Pay Dirt Podcast. It is a Penn State podcast.
That's cool.
With Tom Hannafin and Penn State quarterback Matt McGloin, who we're friends with. So it's a Penn State themed, right? With those guys on it, but it's a really awesome IPA at 5%. You can have a couple of. And then if you add to that, my favorite to tailgate any event, right? Even if it's just tailgating, watching college game day on Saturday, is the Pine Creek Spirits Ranch Water. So we're going to talk about the mule and the ranch water, but again, at 5%, ranch water is light, it's refreshing, it's delicious.
Should we crack one of these open?
Yeah, we absolutely should.
All right, so we got a ranch water here. It's the agave lime. I guess we got any cups?
Yep. On
the way right now. All right, so we got to
coming in hot. Nice.
Need a couple of cups. We're gonna. All right, so there it is. I'm cracking open the can. Ranch water, agave spirit with natural flavors, agave lime, hard seltzer, Pine Creek Spirits, and Appalachian Spirits. All right, so this is a collab.
It is.
All right,
It is.
so
Yep.
drinking out of these like little Jello shot cups. I like that. All right.
Yeah, our the ranch water is a spirit-based seltzer as opposed to it being a malted seltzer, so it doesn't give you that little acidy finish, and honestly, just flat out just tastes better. It's a solid product. Tastes really good.
All right, here we go, and let's go have Ryan. You gonna as we sample this? You mind telling us like what I should be tasting on the palate?
This is actually more Artie's. Like this
Oh.
was kind of developed up here with ABC using their spirits, and this kind of it was more of a collaboration, but more of their in-house stuff that we put in the can.
Okay, all right. Artie, do you want to talk about it? I mean,
Sure.
all right, here.
We worked together on it, but definitely we were able to develop it here at the in our plant in Mechanicsburg, and it uses agave spirit, which is American-made tequila, basically.
It's great. By the way.
Which we have some Reposado aging out right now. So that's pretty exciting for us. Something we're going to release here in the future. But basically, it's really crisp and clean. You've got the agave spirit. It's basically somewhat mineral water and a little bit of lime in there. And so it just makes for a really nice drink, something that's crisp and clean, and you can have a few of.
All right.
If a margarita was good for you, right? If it was a little lighter, it wasn't so sweet, and you wanted to drink a couple of them, this is what it would taste like.
All right, we'll go down the hatch here, boys. Let's go.
Cheers.
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 Ranch water, agave lime, hard seltzer. Yeah, I know
Isn't that
exactly.
great?
That's really good.
Yeah.
And so this does have alcohol in it.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
That's the problem with these seltzers. I don't want to say it's a problem, but that's really why people enjoy them, and they are easy to drink, delicious. This is really nice, and I could see this being fun and convenient at a tailgate. Already cracking open another can.
Yep.
What do we have going on here, guys?
This is the Mule, Pine Creek Spirits Mule, made with Appalachian ginger beer. Just that great spicy aftertaste, nice nose. Will clear you out a little bit, definitely. And it does remind me of the mules we make here at the brewery. It just, the only thing that it doesn't have is that fresh squeezed lime that you can put in, just because you're making a cocktail. But other than that, it's ready to drink, cocktail, ready to go, and just super enjoyable.
All right. This is the Pine Creek and Appalachian Spirits Mule Vodka with ginger and lime flavors. All right, this is going to be good. Here we go. Cheers, fellas. It's just like I made it at home.
Yep.
All it's missing is the copper cup, really, right?
Right.
That is super good. Henry, is this a big deal? I think it is pre-made. What is it? Cocktails in a can, right?
Absolutely. The RTD market has always, honestly, if you did get back in time, I mean, back in the day, Bartles and James and all those things. I mean, those are like the original like RTDs, but the RTD market now in the new climate is just completely blown up, and everyone's doing it. All the breweries, all the distilleries are coming out with malted RTDs and spirit-based RTDs. Brand new companies just off the street have come out, and this is the business they started. But yeah, it's huge opportunities, and if you make it right with quality products and the right people, quality friends, quality partners, it's hard to fail.
And the can, by the way, the labeling is great. There's no denying it's a mule, right? It's got the horseshoes. It's sweet. It's a great looking can. I mean, I love everything that's gone into these. So, great job, everybody. I mean, seriously, this is really enjoyable to drink. So, I'll be checking it out, and definitely a way to get those names out there. Appalachian Craft Spirits. We've been pushing them here on the podcast already, right, for a couple of years now. I love the agave, but this is really great. I love to see the collaboration too. All right, so we have a couple of more beers, or at least one more beer in front of us that we're going to sample when we come back from the break. And we're going to talk a little bit about, I don't know, we're just going to get into this, guys. I mean, I guess we found out we got a couple of ex-rugby players around the table, including myself. And the scary thing about that is it's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. There's like 2 degrees of rugby. You know somebody, they probably have some dirt on you, so.
All right.
Hilarious.
Let's hear about it.
All right, so we'll be right back with some more beers and some more cheers on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. All right, and we're back for the third segment here to close things out on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. It's Mike, Artie, we got Norm and Ryan from Funk Brewing Company and Pine Creek Spirits joining us today on the podcast. Henry Grossman hanging out here in the background, telling us a little bit about some of the new products that are being, arriving here in fall, and as we slowly head into, guys, it'll be like Halloween soon, which is a holiday. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, it's like when we say the holiday season, I mean, the holiday season really starts with Halloween. So, and then as soon as you know it, we'll be cooking turkey and opening presents. So I don't want to get
Mike. I think it starts with Oktoberfest, but you can call it however you want.
Okay. Right.
That's truly the start.
Awesome. Well, wherever you recognize the start of the holiday season, I like to think that we're slowly getting there. So, Henry, you came bearing one more gift here before we turn things over to some other conversation. What's this other beer that we have here in this extra large sample size today?
Yeah, so this is actually you guys know how I love my sours. What we do have is a blueberry sour. It's actually called You're My Boy Blue. And again, the guys have done a great job with this thing. I think there was a couple 100 pounds of blueberries added to this beer.
300 pounds.
Yeah, I think it was 300 to 400 pounds of blueberries added to this batch. They did a really good job. They are literally hitting them out of the park. Again, I'm like the biggest critic because I'm not into sours, but these beers taste great. They really are very impressive of what they can do with it. So,
all right, well let's give it a try here. Norm, I want you like give me the play-by-play here as we as we taste this.
All right.
You're my boy, Blue!
All right.
It's old school.
Cheers. Cool. All right.
All right, sampling.
Smells awesome. Tons of blueberry, right? It's blueberry. It's tart. I'm going to give it a tart. It's not. So I'm not a big sour guy either. I appreciate the style. I like beers that taste great. This tastes great. I think the folks that love sour beers might be like, this is not sour enough for a person that likes beer. This is the awesome amount of sour, right?
Yeah. That's a really nice mouthfeel.
It is right. So it almost like, can I say creamy almost?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mouthfeel.
Little bit of cream.
I love the amount of sour because normally I shy away because they're so sour.
Yeah.
And this is one where, and Ryan and I talk about it a lot, where people go, oh, that's great. I couldn't have more than one.
Yeah,
Well, that's not the point. Then don't make that beer, right? And this is one where, the sour is right. Like, I could have a couple, right? And so I like it very much, yeah. Great job. Awesome job.
That is a funny saying, right? When someone says that about a beer, it's not necessarily a compliment, right? So is that something that you think about constantly when you're putting mixing spirits and developing something new?
Yeah, this goes back a few years. It was actually when I was doing some brewing at the E-Town location. I was trying to collaborate with a local podcast to do a beer for them. They wanted a jalapeno beer, or a pepper beer, they said. And so I went out and found like 3 or 4 that I could buy and brought them back. And we're sitting at the bar, and the one guy goes, "Man, I really like that one. Like, I wouldn't drink one more, but I really like it." And I was like, "Why the heck would I brew that beer then? Like, I need like over 100 people to come and have one of these beers out of just one keg. Like, that's not going to work, man. We can't do that." Like,
Which one is 20 people that
Right.
drink 5 beers? Right? You don't want 100 people that drink one.
That's right.
Is the session mentality something that's sort of taken off again when we see things that we still have imperial IPAs and 7% and 8% beers, but when you're talking about tailgating and just having a couple, right? It's leveled off a little bit even with many of these beers back down into those 5% ranges in many cases, right?
Well, I'll tell you, I do see out in the marketplace and in our own pubs, there's just such a variety of people out there that, you run into somebody and they're like, I only really drink stouts, or I only drink these, I really just prefer barley wines. I'm like, well, that's yeah. Okay, so you don't drink a lot. But I do see, probably our quickest and fastest growing beer right now is our Session IPA. you guys did this one, of course, for the podcast, which is great, and you have so many other great beers too. That what we love, I think, looking at you guys at least at Funk, is the variety of beers that you produce. They're always really fun, and they're pretty cool things. And when we get together every so often, we get to sort of have a little bit of both. So they're drinking our OG beer, and we're able to try some of their fun new stuff. But it's sort of exciting. The industry is so much fun right now, because look at the varieties from sour beers. I mean, we used to, back when I was brewing back, long time ago, as Norm has told me numerous times, that it's just a matter. I mean, we would do anything not to make a sour beer, right? That was the goal. Yeah. Oh boy, I taste a little sour in this. I think we're going to have to dump it, right? Well, if I'd have known then what I know now, I'd have surely been ahead of the curve on sour beers a long time ago, right? So, it's great to see the different variety of beers that people are willing to take in. Everybody has a different palate, so everybody likes something different. And hey, I know at least on our schedule, we give you a whole lot, and I know you guys are about the same too.
So Norm, what can we look for if I'm looking around? By the way, the place that I most recently had a Funk Brewing product was at a gas station of all places that I popped in, and for maybe the owner, I guess, must be big into craft beer, because typically it's somewhere that I stop in for bait before I go fishing, and maybe a Gatorade or something for my son, right, before we go out. But this time of year, he starts stacking up these like pumpkin beers and like ciders and things, and I usually walk out of there, once every couple of weeks. It's cool to be able to go in there and find something, and I found a Funk product. It said give him pumpkin to talk about, right? And I loved it. It was a 4-pack. And it lasted me about a week, and I stretched them, too, because I was enjoying it. Tell me about that beer and anything else that you have coming up that people should be looking for you guys in fall and winter.
Sure. So, that one's got a fun story to it. I'm happy. It lasts you a week, it's 8%. So it's opposite of what we have just been talking about, right? It is not. So drink that whole 4-pack and you won't go in the game.
I could have just 4 of those.
This week.
Yeah.
Right. But no, so the funny story behind it is we never made a pumpkin beer. So we started in 2014. Our wholesaler at the time brought us into their warehouse and said, do us one favor. We were brand new. And they showed us this was July, stacks of pumpkin beer to the ceiling of their giant warehouse. Please don't make a pumpkin beer. And it was at there was a pumpkin boom and bust, right? And now it's back, if you will, right? Whatever back is. And so last year we experimented. We never made one before, so last year we made a pumpkin beer, and we just made some draft to play around with it, and it turned out awesome. Here's what's crazy for a pumpkin beer. We actually used pumpkin in it.
Oh, wow.
Right? I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of pumpkin beers, if you look at them, there's no pumpkin in there.
It's pumpkin spice, really. Is what a lot of them use. And they some of them will also advertise, I guess the term would be lactose, right? Or like something like milk. I don't know what's used in it, but so it creates kind of like a creamy pumpkin pie flavor. That's what I've seen too.
For sure.
But, right, there's a difference between using real pumpkin, which I know is a process that Artie used to do with it. We actually... you'd actually bake the pumpkin, right, and kind of bring out
we would spend hours caramelizing pumpkin.
All right, so we were lucky enough to find organic pumpkin powder.
Oh, there you go.
So, and mind blown. So, but anyway, so we got real pumpkin. So it's a pumpkin beer. It actually so it's got pumpkin spice, but it actually tastes like pumpkin, and it's delicious. And we did it without lactose. We were able to make it sweet. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We just don't. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it. We're fans of it. So it's definitely fun. It's the first time we put it in cans, and it was a hit. That worked out. And then upcoming. So I would say in the fall, we're IPAs. We have a very. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but we have an IPA series that we used to do, and we have one coming back from it. So I'll let. If there's Funk fans on here, I'll let people know that thing is up. That is upcoming. So hopefully it shocks a bunch of people. And we love our seasonal shandies. So in the fall we do raspberry, like I told you. In the winter we do cranberry. And our cranberry shandy, it might sound peculiar to you. It's awesome. And The best drink with a cranberry shandy is if you take. So I'm from Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania, which is part of why Pine Creek Spirits, right? And so back home, a lot of my family and friends found out that if you take a can of the cranberry, it's called Bikes. Okay, it's called is our shandy, yes, and we have Jack in the background pointing at us. He gets it. Yes, that's why we call it Bikes. And so if you take the 16-ounce can of cranberry Bikes and you take a big sip out of it, and you fill it back in with Pine Creek Spirits peanut butter whiskey, now you've made your own ready to drink cocktail, handmade ready to drink cocktail. It's a peanut butter and jelly, and it's outstanding.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. That sounds awesome.
yeah, it's really good. So that's what to look forward to.
So I'm going to decipher that as we listen to this back, because I'm not sure what the... Can you explain the Bikes thing, dude? What is that? Is that the brand name or something? Or what?
It is. So
Okay.
our whole shandy series is called Bikes, right? And it started with a lemonade shandy, right?
But you got to yell it?
Well, you do. Well, there's an exclamation point in it, so it's Bikes with an exclamation
Okay, so
point.
it's Bikes!
Yes, there's a comedian that we all like very much, and he's got a shtick, and it ends with right. So it's a long thing, and arguably his most famous bit, right?
One of the
And
Tom Segura. If you ever listen to Tom Segura,
Got it, yeah.
so he's awesome. He's famous. He hasn't reached out to us yet, which hey,
people
now
have
is the
tagged
time.
him a lot.
Yeah, people say,
really?
oh yeah, yeah, and hey, that's why, and it's Bikes, and that's how you pronounce it because it's got an exclamation point.
Fantastic. Well, hey, man, that's great. It's great marketing, and I love it, man. Anything that's memorable, right? That really is the key to success in this industry in many ways. You know, you got to back it up with quality and flavor, but to be noticed, originality, pop culture, you know, that's things that people recognize. That's my boy. You're my boy, Blue, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. I still, you know, the DVD, all right, to old school. It's Will Ferrell buck naked running down the road, right? But the hole in the DVD is over his butt. So, so every time my 11-year-old son flips through like the old DVD case to find a movie at home, I'm like, we can't quite watch that one yet, buddy. But he knows kind of what it is. So, hey, before we go, I wanted to talk to a couple of. I realized we got some ruggers in the house here. So, Artie, I don't know, we didn't know each other back when I was in college, but I played a couple of years of Shippensburg rugby. And Norm, I understand that you're also a rugby player.
I am. I played at Bloomsburg. Up until very, very recently, I still played rugby. I played over 35 rugby, and I'm 40 couple now. So, yeah, love it. I coach high school rugby in Elizabethtown.
Nice.
But, yeah, I went to Bloomsburg, and as we figured out with our ages, we played against each other.
We had to have played against each other, and you probably partied outside my apartment because we were the ones in the College Park complex that before it was like purchased by the university, right by the stadium, and some crazy stuff used to go down out there. Artie, have you ever played dizzy bats in the courtyard at College Park in Shippensburg?
Well, admittedly, I probably have, yes. Yeah, I have great balance, though, so it's not as much fun for me as it is to watch other people. I don't know what it is. Maybe I was on a tilt-a-wheel. What were those on the playground, that thing you spun around on? I used to, had one by my house, so I was on that thing all the time.
Right.
So, I could spin around in circles for hours and nothing happens to me.
Right.
We played Shippensburg.
That's your hidden talent, right?
Yeah.
Everybody
got
Shippensburg got a lighted stadium while you were there, yeah? A lighted field?
Oh, no, I mean, we
Did you play under the lights ever?
if I can remember, I don't think we did. No, we always played Saturday mornings.
All right, then somewhere
So,
else. I'm
yeah.
a great surfer, wherever that college is. It's
Yeah.
one of these southern. To me, from Bloomsburg, in my rugby years, all of these schools down here are the same school.
Yeah.
I had the same experience whether I played Kutztown or Westchester.
Yeah,
or Ship.
it was great. It was a great
I know the
time.
parties were better at Ship.
Now, hey,
The third half, if you will.
So-
It's better at Ship always.
before we go down the road that we don't want to, and somebody runs a Zulu here within the brewery.
I was saying, today would be a good day if there was one.
All right, well, a couple more ranch waters, and you never know what might happen. So, no, this is great, guys. It's been a pleasure to have you guys in here. I want to thank Norm and Ryan, and I'm sorry I didn't recognize the gentleman who's been sitting patiently in the back over there.
Jack.
It's Jack. Is Jack with you guys?
Jack's with these guys.
Yes.
Well, why didn't someone tell me who Jack was with?
He can be with us. Come with
Okay,
us.
you guys were
When we leave, get in the truck, Jack.
Jack Flynn is a new addition with Appalachian.
okay, cool. Well,
And, some fun stuff coming up soon.
Awesome. Well, I want to always make sure that we give Artie the last word on the podcast. So, Artie, we're in October, and we're just chugging along here in 2022. But final word here as we round things out with our buddies here from Funk and Pine Creek Spirits.
Well, just thanks for being here, guys. It's always fun. I was excited to hear that Mike was able to do the podcast today, and then we had the meeting anyway, so it all worked out together, and it's always great to hang and laugh with you guys and sit around. For us, hey, we got Espresso Stout as our next can out. That's in a 16-ounce can. Amazing work with Ragged Edge Coffee House. Full-on espresso in there, and also gallons and gallons of espresso. Last time when we were testing it, we had to sit around and taste all this espresso, and we were all super buzzed out.
I've never been so efficient.
So I'm glad they've got the recipe down now, so we don't have to do that any longer. Yeah, and then we have the new collab, actually with Big Truck. We're doing a collab there. It's a Vienna lager. It's called Wall Hanger. It's a hunting beer.
Nice.
Nice design on the can, a little camo there, and it's going to be fun. You're going to see that in the marketplace and also in our locations. And then the end of the year, Refrigerator is coming back. We're going to do it as a cannoli stout this year. Chocolate chip cannoli stout. So all sorts of exciting things happening, but we're really looking for a great 2023. And I know we'll have a couple podcasts before that so we can talk about some of the stuff we got coming out next year.
All right. Funks, what's the website? What's the social media? Easy to find?
Oh, yeah, it's Funk Brewing. Yeah, go to funkbrewing.com. On every social you can find it is Funk Brewing. Facebook, Funk Brewing. Instagram, Funk Brewing. TikTok, Funk Brewing. And same, pinecreekspirits.com, and same, Instagram, Pine Creek Spirits.
Tinder.
And check us out.
Tinder.
Yes.
Swipe right.
Feet, we're on the, yes. Swipe right on Pine Creek Spirits.
So good. All right. Well, I want to thank the guests here today. It's been great meeting you guys, hanging out, having a couple of beverages. Great stuff. Excited for fall. Excited for the holiday season because I got all these new things that I can share with family and friends. So whether you're tailgating, looking for that perfect holiday gift, someone special in your life, just want to have a beer and just enjoy something new, like one of these agave lime ranch water hard seltzers, or one of the ready to drink mules. These collabs between Pine Creek and Appalachian Spirits have just really taken off, and they're great. So lots of great stuff on tap. As always, check us out on social media, and the website is abcbrew.com for everything happening at your local Appalachian Brewing Company brew pub. So for Artie and the gang, and Henry, that includes you. The machine. All right. I want to say thanks to our guests, and we'll see you next time on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast.